Questions and answers from the works of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. Flowers, Part 11. From the Mother. Have you never watched a forest with all its countless trees and plants simply struggling to catch the light, twisting and trying in 100 possible ways just to be in the sun? That is precisely the feeling of aspiration in the physical. The urge, the movement, the push towards the light. Plants have more of it in their physical being than men. Their whole life is a worship of light. Light is, of course, the material symbol of the divine, and the sun represents, under material conditions, the supreme consciousness. The plants have felt it quite distinctly in their own simple, blind way. Their aspiration is intense, if you know how to become aware of it. On the plane of matter, they are the most open to my influence. I can transmit a state of consciousness more easily to a flower than to a man. It is very receptive, though it does not know how to formulate its experience to itself, because it lacks a mind. But the pure psychic consciousness is instinctive to it. When, therefore, you offer flowers to me, their condition is almost always an index to yours. There are persons who never succeed in bringing a fresh flower to me. Even if the flower is fresh, it becomes limp in their hands. Others, however, always bring fresh flowers and even revitalize drooping ones. If your aspiration is strong, your flower offerings will be fresh. And if you are receptive, you will be also very easily able to absorb the message I put in the flowers I give you. When I give them, I give you states of consciousness. The flowers are the mediums, and it all depends on your receptivity, whether they are effective or not. Once again, this evening, I'm not going to read, but I won't tell you a story. I'm going to tell you about Madame X. Madame X was born on the Isle of Wight, and she lived in Tlemcen with her husband, who was a great occultist. Madame X herself was an occultist of great powers, a remarkable clairvoyant, and she had mediumistic qualities. Her powers were quite exceptional. She had received an extremely complete and rigorous training, and she could exteriorize herself. That is, bring out of her material body a subtle body in full consciousness, and do it 12 times in succession. That is, she could pass consciously from one state of being to another, live there as consciously as in her physical body, and then again put that subtler body into trance, exteriorize herself from it, and so on 12 times successively to the extreme limit of the world of forms. I shall speak to you about that later, when you can understand better what I'm talking about. But I'm going to tell you about some small incidents I saw when I was in Tlemcen myself, and a story she told me I shall also tell you. The incidents are of a more external kind, but very funny. She was almost always in trance, and she had trained her body so well that even when she was in trance, that is, when one or more parts of her being were exteriorized, the body had a life of its own, and she could walk about and even attend to some small material occupations. She did a great deal of work, for in her trances she could talk freely, and she used to narrate what she saw, which was noted down and later formed a teaching, which has even been published. And because of all that, and the occult work she was doing, she was often tired, in the sense that her body was tired and needed to recuperate its vitality in a very concrete way. Now, one day when she was particularly tired, she told me, "You will see how I'm going to recover my strength." She had plucked from her garden. It was not a garden. It was a vast estate with ancient olive trees and fig trees such as I have never seen anywhere else. It was a real marvel on a mountainside from the plain to almost halfway up. And in this garden there were many lemon trees and orange trees and grapefruit. Grapefruit has flowers which have an even better fragrance than orange blossoms. They are large flowers, and she knew how to make an essence from them herself. She had given me a bottle. Well, she had plucked a huge grapefruit like this, very large and ripe, and she lay down on her bed and put the grapefruit on her solar plexus, here, gesture, like this, holding it with both hands. She lay down and rested. She did not sleep. She rested. She told me, "Come back in an hour." An hour later, I returned, and the grapefruit was as flat as a pancake. That meant that she had such a power to absorb vitality that she had absorbed all the life from the fruit, and it had become soft and completely flat. And I saw that myself. You may try. You won't succeed. Laughter.